So yay. And get my planner. Planners. We're at the end of one, the beginning of another one for the season. Oh my goodness. Okay. Today we're going to be talking about October, which is coming up. We are today is actually, as I'm recording this, September, not October. I'm talking about September. As I'm recording this, it is August 27th. So September is like the beginning of autumn for us who think in quarters. I think in quarters. So June, July, August is summer. September, October, November is fall. December, January, February is winter. March, April, May is spring. And I realize that many of you don't experience the whole season in just that limited amount of time, or you don't experience the whole season in all of that limited amount of time. For example, spring in Florida is like that long. It's mainly summer. Fall is also that long. But now that I'm traveling around the United States, I'm experiencing little bits of the season. So I really thought, let's talk about it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It is this morning. Last night it was 61. I'm in Amarillo, Texas. It's gray and cloudy. It rained yesterday, the night before. It's probably going to be 85 today. It's going back up. So I have to do layers. I have on a blouse, but I have a blue sweater that I wear, and I'm wearing jeans and sneakers. If it gets hot, I'll put on a pair of shorts. But anyway, that's the excitement about living in a time when the seasons are changing. Okay, let me go here and see who's on. Good morning, Candace. She said, good morning, Kat and Mr. B. Katie says, good morning. Hi, Katie. Mary Sellers says, good morning, Kat and Mr. B. It's Roll Tide Week. I'm looking forward to it. I got the jalapeno poppers from Buc-ee's in the freezer, ready to go. Good morning. I'm joining while snuggling my new baby, Rachel. Congratulations. Tell us more about your baby. Nicole Johnson, good morning. Hi, Nicole. Mr. B says, happy live day, everyone. Thumbs up. Kathy Jones said, good morning, Kat and Mr. B. I'm enjoying seeing pictures of your travels on Instagram. Have fun. Yay, I'm glad you can see them. We are having fun. I don't usually put things on Facebook, which feeds Instagram, I guess. I don't know. I quit doing Facebook so long ago, and just occasionally would put something on there. But I think the last thing I put on there was my Christmas cactus or my Advent wreath last December. But I started to put all of my travels on there, and I think Instagram picks that up, so that's good. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Kathy. Let's see. Candace said, I moved from Southern California to Southwest Washington 3 years ago, so now I get all 4 seasons. Absolutely. His name, this is Rachel, is Jack. He's 12 days old today. What a spectacular time to have your little new baby and be able to snuggle them. I know that new babies are a lot of work, but they have so many redeeming qualities. And I would say that's the same with every stage of your children's life, even as adults. They always have redeeming qualities that make us be so attracted to them. So yay. Enjoy that little special smell that they won't have forever. Enjoy that little tender snuggle that you get, the little sounds that they make. I love babies. My grandmother kept over 600 infants and children as fosters back in the day. My grandmother died in the 60s, I think. But since my mother was about 7, she took in infants and children. And she always had at least 6 infants in her nursery, or a lot of times she'd have 6 infants. And when I go stay at grandma's, I got to help her with the babies. And that was my favorite thing. She taught me how to bathe new babies, how to diaper them. Back in the day, they were in cloth diapers. We had just big, huge lines of diapers. And now when you see people who have 6 babies, they have to have all this help. My grandmother did it by herself. Of course, she had the help of her children when she had more children, more babies and toddlers. The family helped as well, but she could handle 6 babies, no problem. 3 to 6 babies always in her nursery. So I love babies. I love little Jack too. I wish I could hold him. I got it down to 40. It got down to 40 degrees, Katie said, here the other night in Minnesota, but we're used to the cold. Well, I guess that's true. I mean, I know I'm used to the heat, so my blood is thin and your blood is thick. Katie Scala. Hello, Kat. Hi, Katie. All right, so we are going to talk about the change of seasons, the change in our mindset. Our summer bucket list should be close to through. And now, you might want to make an autumn bucket list if you enjoyed it. Things you want to do this autumn before it gets to be winter. When you look back on autumn and you think, wow, I wish I had, what are some of the things that you wish you had done? Do you have a corn maze? Is there a hayride you like to take your children on? A pumpkin patch? Have you gone outside and identified leaves of the trees that you looked at all summer long as they come down? I identified one this morning. It was called I think it was an eastern aspen. It has a little saw-edged tooth on it, and it was a yellow leaf that just fell on my lap. So I just put it on my identifier, and that's what it said. I think it said it was an eastern aspen. Is that possible? I don't know. That's not a tree that we have in Florida for sure, that I'm familiar with. All right, so maybe you want to do some things like that. Maybe you want to bake pumpkin bread. Maybe you want to learn how to do pumpkin coffee. Maybe you don't like pumpkin at all and you want to do something else, butternut squash or whatever it is. Make your little list, put it on the refrigerator so you can look at it and say, yeah, I did that. It doesn't all have to be about food, but experiences, I think, are the most wonderful thing. All right, now let's talk about our change of mind. Our change of mind, because in the summer, we're relaxed more. I know that my clients have the hardest time, my mentees, not that they have a hard time, but it's the hardest of the year that they have is around big holidays like Christmas and summer vacation. It's especially hard for them. So I want you to make sure, hang on, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Larry, can you hear me on there? Well, my phone is saying it's turned down. Hold on.
Don't pay attention to your phone.
I'm going to ignore my phone.
Nobody didn't say anything.
I think it's fine. I think I just have it mashed in the... Hang on. You can hear me. Thank you, Candace. Okay, so they have the hardest time because the kids are out of school and they're going on vacation, and there's a way to handle that, and that is follow your routines and do your clutter stops and follow your zone, which is 15 minutes a day if you're at home during the week, or 1 hour on Saturdays, and do your basic weekly plan, which is weekly home blessing, planning and desk day, errand day, card and purse, and what I leave off, free day, if you're at home homemaker. All right, so let's see what people are saying here. Victoria Financial Fitness is Jocelyn, Victory, sorry. And she says, good morning, Kat. Yes, we can hear you. Okay, thank you. Rachel said, yes, we can. Kathy Jones, yes, we can hear you. That reminds me of Horton Hears a Who. When the little guy is down in the flower, whatever he says, I can hear you. Rafaela, hello from Austria. Hello, Rafaela. Good to have you here. I've had clients that I've mentored in Austria before, and one in particular I miss a whole lot, but she was my most recent. I had her for a long time. Katie Scala, yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad you can hear me. So what is first of all, let's talk about your challenges in fall. School is back in, or you've started homeschooling again. Hi from Scottsdale, Arizona. Shannon Engelken. We're going to be in, no, we're not going to be in Arizona this year. We're going to New Mexico next, Albuquerque. Charlene Henderson, good morning, Kat and ladies. Hello, Charlene. Okay, so what is your biggest challenge with the autumn? Or what is your excitement with autumn? Maybe you feel refreshed and ready to go because you've had a nice summer. Maybe you're exhausted from your summer and you're not ready to go. Maybe you're overwhelmed because you're homeschooling and you haven't gotten everything reset yet. Maybe you are excited because the children are in school. I know some of you are a little on the disappointed side because it is nice to have your children go to school if they're at a good school, but they're only keeping them a half day for the first few days of school. I know some of the children aren't back in school yet, and then they have to get back in the car in the middle of the day and drive all the way back to the school. So that sometimes is a challenge. Let's see. No Kimmy's planner. Okay, we could talk about that. Would love to see you sometime. Shannon, that will be awesome one day when we're in Arizona, and we're not going to quit doing this. This is our lifestyle, so that is definitely a possibility. We can meet for dinner. Charlene said, I typed cat, and the system auto corrected. I know, honey. I knew it was K. I knew it wasn't K. It's cat. Rhonda, good morning, Miss Cat. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, everything I type corrects. I was trying to type. A friend's daughter is named Haley, and it's spelled Halei instead of IE or EY. And it corrected it 5 times until I finally got it to take. Ridiculous. Okay. Challenges. I'd like to hear your challenges. And then I want to hear about your inspirations. But right now, your challenges. So the number one thing, the only thing that I've heard so far is that Jocelyn is thinking there's not going to be a Kimmy's planner. And I had a client send me a note the other day and a picture of a planner that she was going to use, because she said when she went online she didn't see anything except the one you could print yourself. And that's been out there for a while, but I had talked to Kimmy since then, and she was pretty certain that they were going to have a planner. So I called her and I said, Kimmy, people are starting to buy other planners. And she said, first of all, I want you to express to everyone how much I appreciate them, how much I love them, and how much they mean to me for supporting me and using this planner. It's, I think, more of an emotional support. She didn't make a lot of money on those at all. But right now she's having a really hard time with her printer, the lady who's going to print, who is very ill. And it may not come off. It may, but it may not. So if you are freaking out, then get yourself a planner. If they do come out later, then and you want to get one for a certain amount of time, then you can do that. I love Kimmy's layout. She designed it for people with ADHD, and it's just a beautiful planner. But if you can't, there are people who are using the Happy Planner. There are people who, I know that Erin Condren has the daily planner, which I like, with the hours in it, because I'll have to be getting a planner too. So if Kimmy's doesn't come along, because I'm not going to print one, I don't want to print one and have that. If I did, I would have to go to a printer and have it printed. I think for people who have no other option, and that's something they just absolutely adore, they can do that. Right now she's testing that to make sure it's going to work perfectly. But that's something you could do. So that's the answer to that question. For now, we don't know for sure. It's possible that she will have one. It's also possible that she will not. And I'm sorry. Okay. Candace said, since my house is clean and organized, I sometimes don't do my rituals in zone. I need help with just staying on track. Okay. So rituals, zones, and basic weekly plan are 3-layer cake. They are habits that we have to instill in ourselves. And these habits don't just take 90 days. They take over and over again. That's why you need a planner, so that you can look at it and check off what you've done to make sure you're doing it. So if your house is clean and organized and you say, well, it looks good, let's go play, you're going to notice one day that the floors are really dirty. And you're going to notice that the toilet needs cleaning. And you're going to notice that the tub or shower needs wiping down. And you're going to notice that your clothes aren't getting done. And you're going to notice that your groceries aren't purchased and you don't have meal plans and you're gaining weight because you're eating out or eating whatever. And basically, your budget might be at askew. You're going to start losing control. And here's what it feels like when you're out of control. I often use this for finances, but I think it applies to everything. When you're out of control, you don't have a planner, you're not checking things off, you're not doing those little things that take such a short time, especially once your house is decluttered and organized. It's so much easier to do anything in that space because there's not clutter everywhere. So what you want is something to check off. If you don't have something to check off, you are not in control. Here's what it feels like when you're in control, in my head. When you're out of control. When you're out of control, the thing that you're trying to control is like 6 white horses, 2 by 2, in front of each other, three sets. And they're all hooked up, and you're holding the reins, and you're standing on the ground, and you say, go, or whatever you say, and they take off. And here you are running on the ground, and the next thing you know, they're running, and you're flying behind them like this, hitting the ground every now and then. That is what it feels like when everything's out of control, to me, especially things that I thought I had in control. Once you're in control, you have your plan, you've checked off the things as you're doing them. It's like having 6 white horses. You're super strong. The horses are so well trained. You're standing on the rump of the back too, 1 foot on one foot on the other. You're holding the reins, and you say, "Yeah," or whatever, and they take off, and then they're running, and you're just standing there with your hair blowing in the wind, controlling the horses. It's a beautiful feeling. I know that's a crazy picture, but that's the picture that I have in my head of me being like a superwoman, leading my horse, guiding the horses. They're not guiding me, okay? And these horses are huge and strong, and they can hurt you. The same thing with your house. Your house can hurt you. You can feel the oppression of all that stuff as it builds up, and especially hurt you if you've lost total control and clutter has built back up in your house. So now you have dirt and clutter, and things are not organized, and you can't find anything. It's no longer streamlined. It's no longer clean. That is a sad feeling. You don't even sleep as well when your house is like that. So, how do we fix this? We start with a planner. So, get your planner and fill it out Monday through Sunday, or Sunday through Saturday, or however it's listed. Start by putting in all of your appointments and commitments. I like to put those on a yearly calendar, like in the kitchen if you have one, or on your phone or Google Calendar, whatever. All of your appointments as you have them, and then put them on the monthly calendar in your planner. And then when you get to the next month, you go back to the monthly calendar, and you go to the week you're in, and you take everything from the monthly calendar for that week and put it in your weekly calendar. So it will say Monday through Sunday or whatever. I have a doctor's appointment at such and such a time. My child has a dentist appointment on such and such a day. My mother has asked me to take her to the orthopedist on this day. I have to go to the garden club meeting, whatever it is, take my child to soccer. You put all those commitments in. If you have a mentoring session with me, you put that in. These are important commitments that you've made. If you have, I'm sure there's something else, but anyway, any kind of commitment you put. Oh, you're homeschooling. What time of day are you homeschooling? From when to when? When are you taking your children to school? When do you pick them back up? Or are they getting off the bus? And you just need to note that they're home from school on your calendar in the beginning, because you don't. It's not automatic anymore because they've been home. But you put all those commitments in, and then you go back and you say, okay, of this week, I've got 5 things that are well, 4 things that are absolute activities that I have to do. Weekly home blessing hour, what I call the quick clean. It takes an hour. Usually we do that on Monday. Can you do that Monday morning? Do you have an hour up there? If you can, write it in. If you have a daily planner, you would take that weekly information and transfer it to each of the days and put it in the time, especially if it has time, which is my favorite. If you're super busy, then you would say, from here to here, I'm doing this, and this is my travel, and this is my travel. Okay? Once you've got that in, then you say, okay, which day, and you're looking at the week again, which day can I do my weekly home blessing hour? Can I do it on Monday if you're an at-home homemaker? Or can I do it Saturday morning if you're a payroll homemaker? If you can, you write it in when you're going to do it in that hour. When are you going to do your zone or your area of focus? So if your area of focus, for right now, it's the master bed. No, it isn't. It's the living room area. That's what this week is. So you're going to do 4 things in your living room. If you're decluttering, you're going to declutter 4 15-minute units. You have to identify what those are during the weekly plan. So you just say, okay, I want to work in my living room. I have to declutter only one thing left, and that's the coffee table. I have to declutter the coffee table, or the drawers, or the bookshelf, or whatever you've got. And then I'm going to deep clean, because that's going to take me 15 minutes for 45 minutes. So each day I'm going to deep clean for 15 minutes. But you're not going to just say deep clean, because when you get ready to deep clean, you're going to stand there and go, what deep clean do I want to do? But if you've thought about it when you're doing your planning, you're not going to waste your brain your energy, mental energy, trying to figure that out. So you can say, okay, what I want to do is give this room a really good vacuum. That's going to be the last thing I do on the last day, like 15 minutes, a really thorough vacuum. I want to clean under the cushions. I want to wipe down the leather recliner. Okay, that's my 4 things. I've got a 15-minute declutter, clean the leather recliner, vacuum the cushions under the cushions, and vacuum the floor. So you write that in on your 4 days for 15 minutes. You put where you're going to do that. Then you say, okay, that's the 3-layer cake, but it's missing the rituals, because the 3-layer cake is what makes this system so sweet. 3 layers, rituals or routines, zone or area of focus, basic weekly plan, or weekly habits. So on this particular example, it was Monday was weekly home blessing hour. Tuesday is your free day if you're at-home homemaker. Wednesday is planning and desk day. That's a big chunk of your day. Thursday is your errand day, also a fairly big chunk of your day. Friday is car and purse, super easy. Saturday is family fun. Sunday is renew your spirit or your holy day. So if you're payroll, Saturday you're going to do your focus is your 1 hour in your living room and 1 hour of your weekly home blessing hour. So 2 hours in the morning, but then you've got rituals. And on Sunday afternoon payroll, you're going to do your planning and desk day. But when you're looking at your planner, see if that's going to fit. If you have commitments on like typically planning and desk day, and there's no way because you're not even going to be home and you really need to think and be quiet, that's a quiet day. You need to switch that to Tuesday maybe. And on Thursday, maybe you're going to do car and purse. That's quick. That busy day, you can squeeze that in. Or you can add car and purse to another day if you have more time and you don't do anything on that day. Free day. Free day is for taking care of yourself, doing something for yourself, okay? Don't forget to give us a thumbs up, Mary said. Thank you, Mary Sellers. So this is what you're going to be doing in your planner. Now we've got rituals. What are the rituals? These are the basic things that I start a client with, a mentee, is the rituals. Rituals are the things you do every single day. They're the things that the family doesn't really give a hoot about, but you do. You have a huge hoot because weekly home blessing hour is not a ritual. A ritual in decluttering is a ritual, not decluttering in your zone. Good morning, Laura. Decluttering by doing clutter stops. It's not really decluttering. Clutter stops. That's a ritual. That means you look around 3 times a day. You can bring the family into this to help if they're the ones who are leaving stuff everywhere. But 3 times a day, you look at your house to see if anything has been left out of place. Because without that, your clutter is going to start building in layers, and before you know it, you're going to have clutter everywhere, and you're going to be sad. So I don't want you to be sad. So declutter and call your family in to help, because there are 4 things that we do as a family. Number 1, we respect everyone. Parents respect children, children respect parents. Okay. Number 2, we have rules. We don't stand in the furniture. That's a rule. We don't hit our brother. That's a rule, etc. Parents make dinner for their children. That's a rule. Okay. The 3rd thing is discipline. Discipline, self-discipline for us to do these rituals. Discipline for our children if they break the rules. Okay, there's discipline. And let's see, there's one more. Oh, and everyone helps. That's up here in the beginning. So it's respect, help, rules, and discipline. Those are the 4 things. Everyone helps. You help your brother helps me, I help dad. We help. That's what makes a family work well. Okay, if you don't have rules that your children are aware of, then make the rules with your husband and your children on a poster board, put them in the kitchen on the wall, and look at them and say, these are our family rules. Have your children help. Sometimes kids will give you great things like, oh yeah, no lying. Oh yeah, that's a great one. No one lies, or fibs, or whatever you want to call it. And then when they do break the rule, you've already talked about consequences. When they do break the rule, then they have a consequence. And whatever you have decided, and it would be a great idea with your husband to sit down and say, what are the consequences for each child, because sometimes consequences are different for different ages, for these rules. And then you administer the consequence. And I highly recommend you send your child away from you, like to their room, to wait while you calm down and you're not mad when you give the consequence. Because when you're angry, you're not going to be thoughtful, and you're not going to be firm but kind. You might be unkind. So firm but kind. So you send them to their room, and when you're calmed down, you go in and you say, okay, this is the rule. You broke the rule. This is the consequence. So now you're going to have to, whatever it is, do your brother's laundry for the week, or mop the floor in the kitchen every night this week, or whatever job you're giving them to do, or whatever other consequence, they lose their phone or whatever. That's going to be administered. And then you say, I know this is hard for you, but this is what happens when you break the rules. And I'm not going to change my mind, and Dad's not going to change his mind. So when you think about this for a little bit, you can come out of your room and everything will be fine. You have to do the consequence, but other than that, everything's fine. I love you, but I don't love that behavior. But I love you. You give them a hug and you leave the room. That's ideal. Now, some children take a lot more calming down than others, and just let them wait in their room and tell them when they're ready they can come out. Okay, sorry to go off on that, but that's so important, because if you're having kids at home that are driving you crazy, after school they come in, they're full of, you don't know what they ate at school that their friend gave them. They got candy in their body or whatever, and they're hyper, and you're going to have to calm everything down. Or you're homeschooling and you're trying to get your kids to behave, and they're just not behaving, and the consequences if they don't pay attention, you've got that in your rules. Okay, switching back. What time is it? Oh, what time is it? It's time for me to go. Okay, so think about what you want to accomplish in the fall. Get your rituals going. Remember, rituals are morning rituals where you get yourself ready in the morning and you make your bed and you empty the dishwasher and you start the laundry. Those clutter stops 3 times a day. After dinner ritual where the whole kitchen gets clean. After dinner, it takes 15 minutes. Everyone who eats participates. And then before bed ritual. The first one is body and clothes. And the last one is teeth, and turn on the dishwasher with soap in it and go to bed on time. All right, that's it for today. Have a fantastic week. And always remember to be beautiful, because you are beautiful. Bye, everyone. You're welcome. Oops.